Hey everyone, I'm doing a McNulty's on Movies solo video on Elf for us to talk about in this post-Christmas period. Elf is one of my favorite movies just in general, even outside of the Christmas genre. I've seen it every year since it came out in 2003, and I've always liked it because obviously it's really funny and it's very quotable. Um, Quoting Elf is like half my vocabulary, even if not everybody recognizes that that is what I'm doing when I'm quoting it. But I've always liked it because I've always been watching, Buddy, Will Ferrell's character, obviously the protagonist of the film. And what I like about Elf is that it is a very genuine and it has a lot of actual joy that it expresses very well um, throughout the film, especially at the end. And I think it does it in a way that isn't cheesy. And even though you're watching Santa Claus and whatnot, it the emotional impact of the film is separate from that. It is not really about believing in Santa the way that maybe the Santa Claus with Tim Allen is. But this year, I noticed something very different in the movie that I hadn't before. Kind of another reason to like it, separate from that, uh, you know, Buddy's journey of finding his place in the world. Um, and that's because I started watching the character of Walter Hobbs, and I think who is Buddy's father, played by James Caan. And I think it's resonated for me because this has been a difficult year for me. Um, it's been the first full year of me like working a real job, and especially recently, um, I've struggled, as I know a lot of people do, with anxiety related to work and being in, you know, at least what feel like to me at the time, high pressure situations, um, and this need to, I got a certain level of ambition and a certain drive to accomplish tasks, and I want to do well. And it can feel like, and it certainly seems to feel like to Walter, that we see a character whose life, he feels like his life could implode kind of at any moment. And he doesn't have a lot of space for distractions or crap that's getting in his way. He's already got a lot on his plate. But those distractions turn out to really be like his family and people that he cares about or should care about or would be better off caring more about. Um, and I think the reason that I didn't see that until I kind of had could see a little bit of myself in Walter, or a little bit of a potential future in Walter, is because there's a little bit of misdirection going on, because I don't think the other characters in the movie really understand Walter. We see Santa, we're introduced to Walter. Santa gives us a description of him alongside where the original Ray's Pizza is and Don't Eat Gum Off the Street, um, as this character who is taking books away from nuns and their orphanages. And what Santa says there is, some people just lose sight of what's important in life. But the way he says it kind of makes you think maybe Santa doesn't really believe this. He just is already delivering so much bad news to such a cheerful person that doesn't want to hear bad news, that he's kind of softening the blow. And so I think Santa is wrong in his opinion of Walter, because I think the words he's saying actually are true, and that Walter has lost sight of what's important in life. But we also get the other misdirection is kind of from Michael, and it's true in his perception of his father, but I don't think it's an accurate representation of the person or character of Walter. Michael says that um, that Walter doesn't care about you or me or anybody when talking to Buddy. All he cares about is money. But I don't think we ever see Walter really motivated by greed. We do see him motivated by anxiety. The greed, when on first watch of the film, you kind of take that on faith. Oh yeah, he's this greedy guy. I know that he's Scrooge. He's a Scrooge character, but he's not. He works for Scrooge. Mr. Greenway is Scrooge, and but that impact that Greenway has, instead of watching Scrooge go through his journey of being kind to everyone at the end, or realizing what's important in life, we see a character who can't get out from under that, but he has to, or he doesn't feel like he can. He is under it, and he has to deal with it on his own without waiting for this authority figure to change his mind about what's important in life. He's got to make his own decisions there, and that's really his journey, is to say, to not just like, go and understand Christmas and everything's happy, but he has to actually let go of pleasing this other man who doesn't care about his family or have any expectation that Walter might. And I just thought that was a really interesting and actually quite powerful message, not scrolled away, because it is a central tenet of the film. Walter makes the decisions that make the emotional impact and the climax really work out, more so than almost any other character. But it's not thrown at you the same way, because the main theme is still Buddy finding his place and the joy that can be associated with true, genuine cheerfulness, and genuine concern. But the path that Walter has to take to get there for the end of the film, I think is really interesting and very strong. And I hadn't noticed it, so I wanted to just share that next time you watch Elf, as I'm sure that you will next year, if not before then, watch Walter, watch his journey, and really see what you think of him as a character, and if you can relate to him more so than just as this Scrooge-like character that really doesn't garner any sympathy until after he's turned face and changed what he cares about. I think we can sympathize with him a lot earlier than we might expect to. And I just thought that was something worth sharing. The other thought with Elf, and because this is, now that it's finally reached this level, is I encourage you, when you watch it, to sing along with all of the parts where the people are singing to their televisions, because it makes it a lot more fun. So thanks. I hope you had a Merry Christmas, and your regularly scheduled Mia and Leah McNulty's on Movies Christmas movie marathon will continue shortly.